Alright, what's good, you stinky weebs? Welcome back to this catch-up reading log. I've been reading since September until now, and I haven't done a reading log just because I've been too lazy. First couple months, it was basically because I hadn't read enough, and then last couple months, I read a lot. So, let's just get into it. Let's start with the novels, get those out of the way. I know not a lot of you guys care about that, but some of you do. So I revisited some childhood favorites. This is the third book in the Great Devil War, The Wrongful Death. This is a Danish YA fantasy or middle grade fantasy. This is the third entry, and this is one of my favorite entries in this series. I listened to the audiobook in Danish, but I do have an English copy of the book, so thought I'd show it off. Next up, I also read book 4 and 5 in the Shama Chronicles, also Danish middle grade fantasy. Really great books in my opinion. These are what got me into reading, along with the Great Devil War. These are readily available in English. Great little middle grade fantasy reads if you want to read something that is not American made but has some like inspirations from Scandinavia. And then some more childhood favorites. I read a bunch of these Ranger's Apprentice books. I absolutely love this series. These are the 4 I could remember that I've read. So we have The Sorcerer in the North, The Siege of Mackinac, Eric's Ransom, and The Battle of Hawkmeath. I also read the first Outcast book, which is a spin-off that takes place in Eric's. If you have any knowledge of the series, you know that they're like Vikings, so it takes place in the Viking country with a different cast. So I don't have the physical book for that, but I listened to that on audiobook. I listened to all these. They're all read by John Keating, I believe. So, except one. But yeah, I read these, or listened to, whatever you want to say. Next up, I just recently finished, this is the copy I have on hand, which is a Danish movie edition of The Hobbit. I listened to the Andy Serkis audiobooks, and they were fantastic. The voices are ripped straight out of the movies, so if you watch the movies, you'll automatically start seeing those faces, because Andy Serkis is amazing at doing voices. But yeah, I really enjoyed listening to it, so I jumped straight into the Fellowship of the Ring, and I've been enjoying my time. But yeah, it's just, a good, fun time, and I've been meaning to get into Lord of the Rings. They're a classic at this point. I mean, nobody can even argue against that. So it's gonna be nice to read. I'm gonna switch between audiobook and the physicals, just because I'm on break now from work. And then last but not least, this is the last novel I noted down that I read, which is Elantris. And it's like the starting point of the Cosmere. I wrote that it's a good book with some very slow moments and very flat characters, but it's a nice entry to, it's a nice debut novel. It had some very interesting moments, but not a lot of there wasn't really action per se, but it is what it is. Not every book has to have action, but this was definitely heavy on the politics. However, the politics were very surface level at times, and some of the characters were just mad annoying. And some were great in the beginning, and then they became really, really juvenile. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I'm glad I checked it out, and can now continue my journey into the Cosmere after having finished Era 1 of Mistborn. I'm not sure where I'll go from here, but it's just a nice little journey. And those were all the novels. Let me get those out of the way. Because down under here I have a shelf on my coffee table with all the manga, and let's just say there is a ton of manga. Yeah, where should we start? Let's start with this pile. I'm gonna bring it up here. I have a little side table. So starting off, we have Volume 5, Volume 6, and Volume 7 of Blue Box. I am really enjoying this. This is a very nice romance series with a little twist of sports. It's not mainly about the sports. The sports is kind of like a background thing. It's like like it's just something they do, but the romance is front and center, and the character work really great. Having a really good time reading this. I sped through these 3 volumes in like one sitting just because it was so riveting, even though nothing really happens. But I guess I've just been craving a good romance series. Next up, volumes 10, 11, and 12 of Mob Psycho 100. I absolutely love Mob. This is definitely one of my favorite manga and also my favorite anime of all time. I'm just glad that we're getting him. I was fearing for a while there that Dark Horse would have cancelled this series, but they didn't. So here we are. Really looking forward to seeing the rest of the manga, even though I have watched the final season of the anime, so I know what's going to happen. And then we have Call of the Night 13. I actually do not remember a lot about this one. What did I write? Peak fiction. That's all I wrote in my notes. So I'm sure if it's Call of the Night, it's more greatness. I think this volume had a lot of action. So I really enjoyed this one. Can't wait for the next one to come out. I absolutely love Call of the Night. The next up, we have a series that finished after a long while. Super X Heroes 11 and 12. It finally finished. Great to have this complete in the collection. I really enjoyed these 2 volumes. So this one I actually wasn't super stoked about. It was more of the same, and I said I'm glad it's over soon. It's definitely, it started to stay its welcome, because it's the same thing that happens in every volume, and this is very typical for these ecchi series, but you just gotta do what you gotta do. And what did I say about the other one? Not a whole lot, apparently. Did I accidentally delete my notes? Seems that I did, but I'm pretty sure I wrote down that it ended in the way that I found satisfying. I mean, it ends off with basically being the hentai Avengers, so take with that as you may. But yeah, next up is one of the biggest disappointments of the year, Yokohama Station, SF. This is just, I would not have bought this if I knew it was only 3 volumes. There is an interesting world here and interesting concepts, but just not enough time to actually develop anything, really. Next up, I also read volumes 4, 5, and 6 of Heavenly Delusion, and I've been checking out the anime. The anime is absolutely fantastic, even though it's a CGI anime. It's super well hidden, but if you're like me, who find CGI animation like super like it gives you a sense of uncanny valley, then you'll notice it. But yeah, the manga is great. It's kind of sad that it's Denpa who has the license, because they struggle with getting books out on time. It is what it is. They're a small team. We gotta cut them some slack, but they're biting off too much than they can chew. So I'm just reading these whenever they come out, and it usually takes like at least 6 months of delays. So next up is a light novel. I think I read more than this one, but this was all I could find in my notes, so I might have accidentally deleted something. But Rascal Does Not Dream of Siscon Idol. yeah, I really enjoy Rascal Does Not. So what can I say? It's a fantastic light novel series. It's a fantastic anime, and the manga is also great. So peak fiction. I mean, it's up there with Mob Psycho in my opinion. And then here's something that is definitely not up there, which is Go Go Loser Ranger. This thing is convoluted. There's stuff that doesn't make sense. The action is okay, but I don't know. So for volume 5, I wrote that it is a bit of a chore to read. The story is all over the place, and the MC makes no sense anymore. Volume 6, MC makes a little more sense in this one. It kind of ought to split. There was a very weird split in the story between this one and this one that made things make more sense. But I was just kind of confused when I read Volume 5. Volume 7, I wrote, it's losing me so hard. Like, I am only picking this up because we're 7 volumes in, and I want to see where this goes, but it is definitely not something that I would recommend to a lot of people. It's poorly written, the action is okay, the art is great, but I don't know, the main character makes zero sense, and then they just do these weird ass pulls of random stuff. So, yeah. Do with that information what you will. Next up is something that I will highly recommend, which is volumes 4 and 5 of Chain Soldier. I'm actually really enjoying this. It's a great turn your mind off series. Art is good. The art is good. But yeah, it's great. Not much to say there. You know, a lot of action, some intrigue with the mystery about the main character's sister and so on. So there's a bunch of different factors that plays in there. It's a solid like 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Spy Family 10. I do believe I did not enjoy this volume very much. Good to see some background info on the characters, because they were like being way too like flat. Like there was not a lot going on, so it's nice to get some background information. And then there was some random like the handler chapters in here that I didn't care for at all. So I don't know, Spy Family is losing me, and the hype is not there for me anymore. Peak. However, there are no colored pages, which is kind of whack, because 7 Seas was still charging the same prices but for less. Next up we have Scam Enix with the pamphlet that's about the ice guy and the cool girl. I mean, look at this. There's like 20 pages in there, and it is $15 US. I don't know, just watch the anime for this. This was definitely a mistake. I meant to delete this off my pull list, but I forgot, so here I am stuck with this. It's nothing special. It's an odd couple romance, so it is what it is. Asador 7, really great volume. We finally get to see the big baddie. Definitely no idea where this is going. I love it. It's Naoki Urasawa at his best. But they come out so slowly because he produces them so slowly. I think he does them like one volume at a time when he's in between projects, if I remember correctly. And you know what, that's a fine way to do it, but it's super frustrating as a consumer when you just want the story, but it is what it is. Oh, next up we have a pile of Peak right here. Oh yeah, here we go, a pile of Peak. Oh, don't, fuck this shit. Jujutsu Kaisen is not good. It's okay, but it's not good. We have volume 14, volume 15, volume 16, volume 17, volume 18, 19, 20, 21, and spin-off volume 3. So I read 9 volumes of Rent a Girlfriend, and I had a blast of a time. This is my reality TV, and I gotta say, I am it's a trash manga, but I love it. It hooked me so bad in these volumes. Um, so I'm actually really enjoying it. This is the series that I read the most volumes of in the past 3 to 4 months. So that says a lot. But you know what? I am not ashamed to say that Rent a Girlfriend really captivated me this time around. But I definitely also know that it is not a masterpiece. It is not peak fiction. It is pure trash that is just made for entertainment, and that is what I want from it. So it does that perfectly. Let's see, what did I write about the volumes? So 14, the story is ramping up. It's trash, but I'm enjoying it. It's my reality TV. Volume 15, really enjoying the movie arc. Characters all developing. Mommy shows up when? Because at this point she hadn't been in the story for like forever, so I'm like, when is she gonna show up and ruin things? Rack 16, I wrote that this was like an in-between volume. It's kind of a standstill, but there's still like some important stuff in there. 17, I just wrote the drama. Volume 18, Sumi Gay. Oh yeah, the Sumi is my favorite of the cover girls, so she's very cute. 19 made a little progress, but overall a slow volume. It's another in between. Volume 20, a certain character is back, and that can only mean trouble. And then I also wrote about Rent a Girlfriend, really shy girlfriend was what it's called, the spin-off, whatever it's called. It's pretty lame. If you like Sumi, enjoy it. It's definitely not a must buy. It has nothing to do with the story really. It's just like the end of the book goofs, but put into its own standalone series. All right, so we got 2 stacks of manga left. Let's see what we got here. Let's do this one, yeah. So I read volumes 3 and 4 of the Faraway Paladin. I'd say stick with the light novels if you're interested in this series. It's just a good little fantasy, power fantasy. It's nothing special, but excuse me, but it's decent if you're in the mood for like a solid fantasy with like untraditional choices. Like the skill of the main character is untraditional. His like companions are untraditional. It's a good story that really uses the fantasy genre really well. And these releases by the J Novel Club are really nice. They're super heavy and like they aren't super tall or anything, but they're sorry, they're good. Oh, next up is a great one. I really enjoy it. I binged all these 5 volumes of Dandadan in one go, and I really had a great time. I just realized every single cover is the same thing, but they're absolutely beautiful. Like I would love to have these covers blown up and have like posters of them. But yeah, it's crazy. Everything can happen. Nothing is too much. Great story, honestly. Great shonen series. And something more serious, we have Candy and Cigarettes, volume 4, 5, and 6. I really enjoyed this series. It's a great hit from 7 Seas. I'm glad they picked it up. It's doing a lot of good. It's a good story, great character work, some like very emotional moments. I wrote, if you like moments 1 to 3, you're gonna like this one. It sets up some future kinks and twists in the story. Volume 4, 5, a very action-packed volume, but it also has a super odd amount of sexualization of the female lead. It's definitely weird, but it also kind of fits the whole vibe of the series. Because she is a kid and she's forced to be this like assassin, it's I don't know, it's just it fits the vibe in a weird way. I'm not saying that, I don't know, I hope y'all get what I'm saying. It's weird, but it fits the vibe of the story. So if you can, be a grown up and actually read the story for what it is, and not just go, "Ew, there's a lolly in there," then you can enjoy this series. Because they don't. There's not any characters who like actually like portray any kind of like attraction to her. It's just the way that she is in her business and so on. And it's honestly really wholesome between her and the old man. He's like the male MC. It's like actually a really wholesome relationship. Volume 6, what did I write there? Where'd it go? Oh yeah, new arc. Rem seems to be a bigger part of the story going forward. So yeah, this marks the start of a new arc. I'm not sure if this still is ongoing or if it's finished, but I am just reading them as they come out. Next up is the last pile of manga, which is also the heaviest, because it contains all the manhwa. So let's start off with finally got around to reading some Blue Lock, and it's decent, but it's no awashi. I don't know. I don't get the hype. It's okay. It's just Kokoro's basketball, but with soccer. But yeah, I just wish that somebody would publish awashi over this. Honestly. Oh, actually, I read volume 5 as well. So yeah, 4 volumes, which is, you know, a good chunk. I still got like 4 or 5 volumes left to read before I'm caught up. And now into the manhwa slash webtoon. So I read volume 3 and 4 of The Boxer. Volume 3 was really great. It also felt a little dragged out. You can literally see that it's thicker. So it felt a bit dragged out, but it had some hype fights and some really good moments. I do not give a shit about this guy. Like, I do not care. I believe it feels like he is supposed to be the actual main character, and the main character is like the villain in his story, but I don't care for him. He's pointless. I don't want to see him. I just want to see the main character from the first 3 volumes beat everybody's ass. Don't give a shit about this guy. Then we have The World After the Fall. It's okay. It's nothing great. It's a... I don't know what it is about manhwa, but they are riddled with isekai-esque manga, and everybody's just gobbling it up, saying, "Oh, this is peak fiction, blah blah blah," just because it has color. But it's literally isekai, and they all look the same, and they all pretty much have the same personality and the same skill set. The skill set is, I am the main character. Then we have Solo Leveling Volume 7. I enjoyed this. It's okay. To me, this is like the OG, but I don't even know if it is. But I mean, just look at this. They're the same guy. And then you have Tomb Raider King, and Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint is coming out, and there's just too much power fantasy isekai-esque manhwa, and I am surprised that people are just gobbling it up. Last but not least, The Tower of Shit, Volume 2. This is not good. This is, especially since this is anime, like stuff covered in the anime, so it's just like a worse looking way to get the anime content. So I don't know. I'm gonna be picking it up because people say it's the One Piece of manhwa, but I doubt that. But you know what? I'm gonna give it a chance. But yeah, that's just about everything I read, I believe. A bunch of stuff, but it's also been months since I did a reading log, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you wanted to hear my opinions on some series. Hopefully I didn't hurt your feelings. I don't really care anyways, but reading log. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do another one. I might do one next month. I might do one in like 6 months. They come out whenever they come out. Not a lot of people watch them anyway, so it is what it is. Have a good one, guys.